IELTS General Training Writing Task 1, your friendly guide to writing perfect letters. Welcome back to our exciting IELTS writing series. If you are preparing for the IELTS General Training Test, then this guide and the video that goes with it is made especially for you. We know that the IELTS writing section can feel a little challenging, but we're here to make it easier. In the academic module of IELTS, you might be asked to write about graphs or charts. But for the general training test, your task 1 is different. You need to write a letter. Now, you might be thinking, a letter? That sounds easy. I write letters all the time. And that's true for everyday life. However, for the IELTS test, there are some special rules and expectations to follow if you want to get a really good score. The most important things are the tone of your letter, how polite or friendly you sound, and the structure, how you organize your ideas. Getting these right is super important for success. Think of writing a letter for IELTS like building with Legos. You need the right colored bricks, your words and ideas, and a good plan or instruction manual, the structure, to make sure it looks great and holds together perfectly. Whether you need to write a letter to complain about something that went wrong, to invite someone to a special event, or to ask for some important information, there's a clear, simple recipe for success. In this guide, we will walk you through everything you need to know, step by step. We'll explore the different types of letters you might need to write, give you a universal structure that works for every single letter, and show you exactly how to choose the best words and phrases to make your letter sound just right for the situation. So let's get started on your journey to writing fantastic IELTS letters. We're going to make this fun and easy.
Part 1. Understanding the tone of your letter. Who are you talking to? The very first and arguably the most important step when you receive your IELTS Task 1 prompt is to figure out who you are writing to. This is the key that unlocks the correct tone for your letter. What is tone? Think of it as the feeling or the attitude of your letter. Are you writing to someone you've known for years or someone you've never met? This makes a huge difference in how you should write. In IELTS General Training Task 1, there are 3 main tones you need to know. 1. Formal tone, polite, respectful, and professional. When to use it? You use a formal tone when you are writing to people you don't know or to people who are in a position of authority or importance. Examples. You remember this selection, so it's likely we have a mutual connection. This top tutor display makes the presentations pop, and you know perfectly advances in this tech space will continue. When you're writing to businesses, remember to always be polite, even if you're complaining. Your language should be professional and businesslike. Avoid slang or overly casual expressions. On the well-funding, we'll talk more about contractions later, but they are words like don't, it's, I'm. Always use complete sentences. Think of it like this. Imagine you bought a new phone from a big store and it stopped working after only 1 week. You don't know the manager, but you need them to fix the problem. You have to write a letter that is polite, professional, and clearly explains your problem and what you want.
2. Semi-formal tone. A little friendly, but still professional. When to use it? This is like the middle ground. You might know the person you are writing to, but the situation is still professional or serious. It's a balance between being polite and being a bit more personal. Examples: your boss or supervisor, your teacher or professor, a neighbor you know but aren't best friends with, someone from a club or organization you are part of, like a sports club or a book club, someone you have met through work or a shared activity. What your language should be like. Polite, but more direct. You can be a little more direct with your request or information than in a fully formal letter. Slightly warmer. You can use slightly warmer language and express a bit more personality. Still avoid slang. Try to avoid very casual slang or very informal phrases. Contractions might be okay, but be careful. Sometimes contractions like I'm or your are acceptable in a semi-formal letter, especially if you know the person well. However, to be safe, it's often better to use the full forms, I am, you are. It's always better to be a little too formal than a little too informal. Focus on clarity. Make sure your message is very clear and easy to understand. Think of it like this. You need to ask your boss if you can take a day off next week for an important doctor's appointment. You know your boss and you have a good working relationship. You can be polite and clear, but you don't need to be as stiff as you would be with a stranger. 3. Informal tone. Friendly and relaxed. When to use it? You use an informal tone when you are writing to people you know very well and are close to. Your relationship with them is personal, not professional. Examples: friends, family members, parents, siblings, cousins, aunts, uncles, close relatives. What your language should be like. Relaxed and natural. Write as if you are actually speaking to them. Use the kind of language you normally use when you talk to them. Use contractions. It's perfectly fine and very natural to use contractions like I'm, your, don't, can't, it's, we're. Casual vocabulary. You can use everyday words, common phrasal verbs like catch up, hang out, and even some friendly slang if it feels natural to your relationship. Enthusiastic. You can show more emotion, excitement, and personality. Shorter sentences are okay. You can write more like you speak, which often means shorter sentences or even more conversational sentence structures. Think of it like this. You want to invite your best friend to your birthday party. You can use friendly language, tell them what you're excited about, and use common, relaxed words. You can even ask questions like, "How are you doing?" and use emojis if you are writing an email, though for IELTS letters, we don't use emojis.
Activity 1. Identifying the tone. Let's practice. To make sure you understand the difference, let's try a quick practice activity. Read each scenario and decide if the letter you need to write should be formal, semi-formal, or informal. Write your answer in the space provided. 1. You are writing to the manager of a hotel to book a room. Answer: formal. 2. You are writing to your younger brother to tell him about your new job. Answer: informal. 3. You need to ask your teacher if you can have an extension for a school project. Answer: semi-formal. 4. You are writing to your local council to report a problem with a street light near your house. Answer: formal. 5. You are writing to your neighbor to ask if they could collect your mail while you are on holiday. Answer: semi-formal. 6. You are writing to the company that sold you a faulty television to complain about it. Answer: formal. 7. You are writing to your best friend to tell them about your amazing holiday. Answer: informal. 8. You are writing to your university professor to ask for advice about your future studies. Answer: semi-formal. 9. You are writing to your aunt to thank her for a birthday present. Answer: informal. 10. You are writing to the company that you want to get a job from after you had an interview. Answer: formal. Don't worry if you're not 100% sure on all of them yet. We will keep practicing. You can find the answers at the end of this guide.
Part 2. Common reasons for writing, what's your letter's job? The IELTS Task 1 prompt will always tell you why you need to write the letter. This is called the purpose of your letter. There are many different reasons why you might need to write a letter in the general training test, and the examiners want to see that you can adapt your writing style to fit each reason. Here are some of the most common purposes for writing an IELTS General Training Task 1 letter. Requesting information. You need to ask for details or facts about something. Asking a university about course details, asking a travel agency about flight information, asking an event organizer about the schedule. Making a complaint. You are unhappy with a product, a service, or an experience, and you want to tell the person or company about it. You usually want them to fix the problem. A product you bought doesn't work, the service in a restaurant was bad, you had a problem with a hotel booking. Inviting someone. You want to ask someone to come to an event or to visit you. Inviting someone to a birthday party, a wedding, a housewarming party, or just for a casual dinner. Explaining a problem or situation. You need to tell someone the reason why something happened or why you can't do something. Explaining why you will be late for an appointment, why you missed an important meeting, or why you cannot attend an event you were invited to. Apologizing. You need to say you are sorry for something you did or didn't do. Apologizing for being late, for causing inconvenience to someone, or for not replying to a message sooner. Applying for something. You are writing to ask for a job, a place on a course, or to become a member of a club or organization. Writing a cover letter for a job application, applying to join a language class. Giving information or instructions. You need to provide details or tell someone how to do something. Explaining how to use a new piece of equipment, giving directions to your house, providing information about an event. Making a suggestion or recommendation. You want to suggest an idea or recommend something to someone. Suggesting a place for a group outing, recommending a good book or movie. Thanking someone. You want to express your gratitude for something someone did for you or gave to you. Thanking someone for a gift, for their help with a task, or for inviting you somewhere. Making a request other than information. Asking someone to do something for you or to allow you to do something. Asking a neighbor to collect your mail. Asking a friend if you can borrow their car. Asking your boss for a favor. The good news. Even though the reason for writing the letter changes, the basic structure you need to follow stays exactly the same. This is fantastic because it means you only need to learn one main structure and then you can adapt it for any purpose and any tone. It makes learning IELTS Task 1 much, much easier. Let's look at that universal structure now. It's your essential building plan.
Part 3. The universal letter structure, your essential building plan. Every good letter, no matter the tone or purpose, follows a clear and logical structure. Think of this as your recipe for a successful IELTS letter. If you follow this structure, your letter will be easy for the reader to understand, well organized, and will make sure you cover all the requirements of the IELTS prompt. Here are the 5 essential parts of any IELTS General Training Task 1 letter. 1. The greeting, or salutation. This is how you start your letter. It's the very first thing the reader sees, and it must match the tone. Formal. If you don't know the person's name, Dear Sir or Madam. This is the standard and safest option if you don't have a name. If you know their name, e.g., Mr. Smith, Ms. Jones, or Dr. Lee, Dear Mr. Smith, or Dear Ms. Jones, or Dear Dr. Lee. Remember, it's best to use Ms. for women unless you know they prefer Mrs. or Miss. Semi-formal. Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Ms. Jones, if you know their name but the situation is still professional. Dear Sarah. This is okay if you know the person reasonably well, like a colleague you are friendly with, but the situation is still semi-formal. Informal. Hi, Sarah. Very common and friendly. Hello, John. Dear Mom. Hey, David. This is very casual, best for very close friends. 2. The opening statement. Why you are writing. This is usually one single sentence that comes right after your greeting. Its job is to clearly and immediately state why you are writing the letter. This tells the reader the main point of your letter right from the beginning. Formal. I am writing to inquire about, if you are asking for information. I am writing to complain about, if you are complaining. I am writing to request, if you are asking for something. I wish to express my concern regarding, a more formal way to complain or express worry. This letter is to confirm, if you are confirming something. Semi-formal. I'm writing to ask if you could, uses a contraction, friendly but polite. I wanted to let you know about. Hope you're well. I am writing because, starts with a friendly greeting before stating the purpose. Informal. Just wanted to ask if, guess what? I wanted to invite you to. How are you? I'm writing because,
Hope you're doing well. I wanted to tell you about 3. The body paragraphs, the main information. This is where you provide all the details for your letter. Very important, the IELTS Task 1 prompt will always give you 3 specific bullet points that you must cover in your letter. The absolute best way to organize this part is to use a separate, short paragraph for each bullet point. Why? This makes your letter incredibly easy to read. It shows the examiner that you have understood all parts of the prompt and that you have fulfilled the task requirements perfectly. Structure. Paragraph 1. Address the first bullet point from the prompt. Paragraph 2. Address the second bullet point from the prompt. Paragraph 3. Address the third bullet point from the prompt. Adding detail. You might need to add extra sentences or details within each paragraph to make your points clear, to explain them properly, and to ensure you reach the minimum word count, which is over 150 words. Don't just write one sentence per bullet point, expand on your ideas. 4. The closing statement. This is a brief sentence or two that signals the end of your letter. It often summarizes your expectation or expresses the final thought. Formal. I look forward to your prompt response. Very common and polite. Thank you for your time and consideration. Polite, especially when asking for something. I await your reply. More direct and formal. Semi-formal. I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for your help with this. Let me know what you think. Informal. Hope to see you soon. Let me know your thoughts. Can't wait to catch up. 5. The sign-off and your name. This is how you end your letter. Just like the greeting, it must match the tone you have used throughout the letter. Formal. If you started with Dear Sir or Madam, your sign-off must be Yours faithfully. If you started with Dear Mr. Smith, i.e. you used their name, your sign-off must be Yours sincerely. Semi-formal. Regards. Best regards. Kind regards. Informal. Best wishes. Kind regards can be used informally too, but are slightly more formal than best wishes. Cheers. Very casual, used with close friends. Love, for very close family members or romantic partners. Remember, the structure is your roadmap. Follow it carefully and you'll easily reach your destination. A well-written letter that gets you a good score.
Activity 2. Spotting the structure. Let's check. Let's look at the sample formal letter from the prompt again and identify the 5 parts of the structure. This will help you see how it works in practice. Model answer from prompt for reference. 1. Greeting. Dear Sir/Madam. 2. Opening statement. I am writing to express my dissatisfaction with the meal I had at your restaurant on the evening of October 26th. 3. Body paragraph 1. Problems with food. Firstly, the food was significantly below the standard I would expect. I ordered the grilled salmon, which arrived cold and was noticeably undercooked. Furthermore, the accompanying vegetables were overcooked and lacked any seasoning. 3. Body paragraph 2. Issues with service. In addition to the disappointing food, the service was exceptionally slow. We had to wait for over 20 minutes before a waiter took our order, and we struggled to get anyone's attention to address the issues with our meal. 3. Body paragraph 3. What you want. To resolve this matter, I expect a full refund for the cost of the meal. I believe this would be an appropriate response given the wholly unsatisfactory experience. 4. Closing statement. I look forward to your prompt response to this complaint. 5. Sign off and name. Yours faithfully, your name.
Part 4. Adjusting your language, the art of tone. This is where the real skill and the magic happens, making your language perfectly match the tone you've chosen. It's not just about what you say, but how you say it. Let's compare formal and informal language side by side to see the differences clearly. This will help you choose the right words for every situation. 1. The greeting, salutation. Formal, don't know the name. Dear Sir or Madam. This is the standard, safe, and correct way to start when you don't have a name. Always use a comma after it. To whom it may concern. This is also formal, but it can sound a bit old-fashioned or impersonal. Use it only if you really have no idea who might read the letter. Formal, know the name. Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Miss Smith. Use Mr. for men, use Miss for women. It's best not to guess marital status with Mrs. or Miss unless you are absolutely sure or the prompt specifically tells you to use it. Dear Dr. Jones, if the person has a doctorate degree or is a medical doctor. Dear Professor Brown, if the person is a university professor. Semi-formal. Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Miss Jones, if you know their name but the situation is professional. Dear Sarah, this is generally acceptable if you know the person reasonably well, like a work colleague you are friendly with, but the situation still requires politeness and professionalism. It's a good way to sound warmer but still respectful. Informals. Hi Sarah. Very common and friendly. You can use first names easily here. Hello John. Dear Mom or Dear Dad for parents. Hey David. This is very casual and friendly. Best for close friends you speak to this way regularly. 2. The opening statement, why are you writing? Informal. You need to be direct, clear, and polite. Get straight to the point without being abrupt. I'm writing to inquire about. Perfect for asking for information. I'm writing to complain about. Clear and direct for complaints. I'm writing to request information regarding. A slightly more formal way to ask for info. I wish to express my concern regarding. A polite way to express worry or dissatisfaction. This letter is to confirm, used to confirm details of a booking, order, etc. I'm writing with reference to, used to refer to a previous conversation or letter. Informal. You can be more casual and conversational. It's like starting a normal chat. Just wanted to ask if... Guess what? I wanted to invite you to... How are you? I'm writing because... Starts with a friendly question. Hope you're doing well. I wanted to tell you about... Warm and friendly. 3. Vocabulary and phrasing. Choosing the best words. This is a very important area for showing your English level. Formal letters use more sophisticated, precise, and often longer words. Informal letters use everyday, simple words that you use when you speak. 4. Contractions. A big rule for formal letters. Formal. Never use contractions in a formal letter. This is a very important rule for sounding professional. Always write I am, I have, do not, is not, it is, you are, cannot, will not. Do not write I'm, I've, don't, isn't, it's, your, can't, won't. Informal. Always use contractions in an informal letter. This is what makes your writing sound natural and conversational, like you're really talking to your friend or family member. Write I'm, I've, don't, isn't, it's, your, can't, won't. 5. The closing statement and sign-off, ending your letter. Formal. Closing statement. I look forward to hearing from you. Very common and polite for requests or complaints. Thank you for your assistance. Use if you ask for help. I await your reply. Direct and formal, good for official matters. Sign off. Yours faithfully. Use only if you started with Dear Sir or Madam. Yours sincerely. Use if you started with Dear Mr. Smith or Dear Miss Jones. You use their name. Semi-formal. Closing statement. I hope to hear from you soon. Thanks for your help with this. Let me know what you think. Sign off. Regards. Best regards. Kind regards. Informal. Closing statement. Hope to see you soon. Let me know your thoughts. Can't wait to catch up. Sign off. Best wishes. Kind regards. Can be used here too, but maybe slightly less casual than best wishes. Cheers.
very casual, use with close friends. Love, for very close family or romantic partners.
Part 5. Let's practice. Sample prompts and model answers. Now that we understand the structure and the different tones, let's put it all into practice. The IELTS examiners will give you a specific task, and usually this task will include 3 bullet points that you must cover in your letter. We'll look at different types of letters and how to write them. Sample formal letter prompt 1. A letter of complaint. Scenario: you recently had a meal at a restaurant and you were very unhappy with both the food and the service. Write a letter to the restaurant manager. In your letter, you should describe the problems with the food, explain the issues with the service, say what you want the manager to do. Tone: formal. You are writing to a restaurant manager you don't know. Model answer breakdown. Formal letter, restaurant complaint. 1. Greeting. Dear Sir or Madam. 2. Opening statement. I am writing to express my dissatisfaction with the meal I had at your restaurant on the evening of October 26th. Body paragraph 1. Problems with the food. Firstly, the food was significantly below the standard I would expect from an establishment like yours. I ordered the grilled salmon, which arrived cold and was noticeably undercooked in the center. Furthermore, the accompanying vegetables were overcooked to the point of being mushy and lacked any seasoning, making them quite bland. Body paragraph 2. Issues with the service. In addition to the disappointing food, the service we received was exceptionally slow and inattentive. We had to wait for over 20 minutes before a waiter even came to take our order. Later, when we tried to politely address the issues with our meal, we struggled to get anyone's attention for a considerable amount of time. Body paragraph 3. What you want the manager to do. To resolve this matter, I expect a full refund for the cost of the meal. I believe this would be an appropriate response given the wholly unsatisfactory experience we endured. Alternatively, I would consider a voucher for a future meal, provided assurances can be made regarding food quality and service standards. 4. Closing statement. I look forward to your prompt response and a satisfactory resolution to this complaint. And 5. Sign off and name. Yours faithfully and your name.
Analyzing the model answer formal letter complaint. Let's look at why this is a great example of a formal letter that would get a high score. Greeting. Dear Sir or Madam is perfectly formal because you don't know the manager's name. Sign off. Yours faithfully correctly matches the Dear Sir or Madam greeting. Opening statement. I am writing to express my dissatisfaction is direct, clear, and immediately tells the manager the purpose of the letter. Body paragraphs. This is where the letter really shines. Paragraph 1 clearly describes the problems with the food: cold, undercooked salmon, overcooked vegetables, bland seasoning. Paragraph 2 explains the issues with the service: slow, inattentive, long wait for order, difficulty getting attention. Paragraph 3 states what the writer wants: a full refund or perhaps a voucher. Each of the 3 bullet points is addressed in its own separate, well-developed paragraph. This makes the letter incredibly easy to read and shows the examiner that you have understood the task perfectly. Vocabulary. The vocabulary used is formal and precise. Words like dissatisfaction, significantly below the standard, establishment, undercooked, furthermore, accompanying, noticeably, in addition to, exceptionally slow, inattentive, considerable amount of time, resolve this matter, expect, appropriate response, wholly unsatisfactory experience, prompt response, and satisfactory resolution are all excellent choices for a formal letter. Contractions. Notice that there are no contractions used in this letter, e.g., it says I am, not I'm. This is crucial for formal writing. Word count. This letter would comfortably be over the 150-word minimum. This letter follows the structure and uses the right tone flawlessly. It's a brilliant example of how to write a formal complaint letter for IELTS. Below is another example of a formal letter that you can use to write with confidence.
Sample semi-formal letter prompt 2, a letter to a neighbor. Scenario: you are going on holiday for 2 weeks and you need your neighbor to look after your cat. Write a letter to your neighbor. In your letter, you should explain that you are going on holiday and for how long, ask them if they can look after your cat, and tell them what food the cat eats and where to find it. Tone: semi-formal. You know your neighbor, but it's a polite request. Model answer breakdown, semi-formal letter, neighbor. Dear Mr. Harrison, I hope you are doing well. I'm writing to you today because I'm going on holiday soon, and I was hoping you might be able to help me with something. My family and I will be going on holiday from November 5th until November 19th. We will be away for 2 full weeks. I was wondering if you would be able to help look after my cat, Whiskers, while we're away. We would be very grateful if you could pop in once a day to feed her and perhaps spend a little time with her. Her food is in a blue tin in the cupboard to the left of the fridge. She eats about half a tin per day. Her water bowl is usually kept full, but if you could check it each day, that would be wonderful. The cat litter box is in the kitchen, and it would be great if you could scoop it out every couple of days. Thank you very much for considering my request. Please let me know if this is something you might be able to do. Best regards. Your name.
Analyzing the model answer. Semi-formal letter, neighbor. Let's see why this works well for a semi-formal tone. Greeting. Dear Mr. Harrison is appropriate because you know his name and are being polite. Sign off. Best regards is a good semi-formal closing. Opening statement. I hope you're doing well. I'm writing to you today because starts with a friendly greeting and then uses a contraction, I'm, which is acceptable in semi-formal writing. It's polite but not overly stiff. Body paragraphs. Paragraph 1 clearly states the holiday dates. Paragraph 2 makes the request politely. Paragraph 3 provides all the necessary details about the cat's needs. Vocabulary. Words like holiday, hoping, wondering, pop in, perhaps, considering my request, and let me know are suitable for a semi-formal tone. Contractions. The use of I'm is fine here. You could also use I am to be even more formal if you preferred, but I'm makes it sound a bit warmer. Word count. This would be over 150 words. Sample informal letter prompt 3. A letter to a friend. Scenario: your friend has just moved to a new city and is feeling a bit lonely and unsure about how to meet new people in their new city. Write a letter to your friend. In your letter, you should tell them you are thinking of them and how they are feeling, suggest some ways they could meet new people in their new city, invite them to visit you soon. Tone: informal. You are writing to a close friend.
Model answer breakdown. Informal letter. Friend. 1. Greeting. Hey, Sarah. 2. Opening statement. How are you doing? I've been thinking about you a lot since you moved, and I wanted to write and see how you're settling in. I heard you might be feeling a bit lonely, which is totally understandable when you move somewhere new. 3. Body paragraph 1. Thinking of them. Just wanted to say I'm here for you, even though we're not in the same city anymore. Moving can be a big change, and it takes time to build up a new routine and meet new people. Don't be too hard on yourself if it feels a bit strange right now. 3. Body paragraph 2 suggests meeting people. You know, one thing that really helped me when I moved to my old town was joining a local club or a gym class. Maybe you could try a yoga class or join a book club like ours. There are often local Facebook groups for people in new cities too, which can be a good way to find out about events or meetups. What about checking out some of the local cafes or parks? You never know who you might bump into. 3. Body paragraph 3. Invite them to visit. It would be absolutely amazing if you could come and visit me soon. We could properly catch up, maybe go out for dinner or a movie, and I could show you around all my favorite places here.
Let me know if you have any free weekends in the next month or two. We could definitely plan something fun. 4. Closing statement. Anyway, I'm sending you lots of positive vibes and good luck with everything. Write back when you get a chance and tell me all about it. 5. Sign off and name. Best wishes. Your name. Analyzing the model answer, informal letter, friend. This letter is a perfect example of an informal tone. Greeting, "Hey Sarah," is very friendly and informal. Sign off, "Best wishes," is a good informal closing. Cheers or love could also work here depending on how close they are. Opening statement, "How are you doing? I've been thinking about you a lot," starts with a natural, friendly question. It uses contractions like I've and you're naturally. Body paragraphs. Paragraph 1 shows empathy and addresses the friend's feelings like thinking about you, totally understandable, feeling a bit lonely. Paragraph 2 offers practical suggestions for meeting people, clubs, classes, Facebook groups, cafes, or parks. Paragraph 3 makes a warm invitation to visit. Vocabulary. The language is very casual and friendly. Settling in, totally understandable, big change, feels a bit strange, bump into, absolutely amazing, properly catch up, show you around all my favorite places, positive vibes, tell me all about it. Contractions like I've, your, I'm, and it's are used naturally throughout the letter, which is exactly what you should do in informal writing. Word count, this letter would be well over the 150-word minimum.
Part 6. Key takeaways and tips for success. Let's summarize the most important things you need to remember for IELTS General Training Writing Task 1. If you follow these steps, you will be well on your way to writing confident and high-scoring letters. 1. Decide on the tone first. Read the prompt carefully. Who are you writing to? This is the most crucial first step. Is it a stranger or official? Formal. Someone you know but the situation is serious/professional. Semi-formal. A close friend or family member? Informal.
2. Follow the universal structure. Greeting must match the tone. Opening statement. Clearly state why you are writing. One sentence. Body paragraphs. Dedicate one separate paragraph to each of the 3 bullet points from the prompt. This is key for organization and scoring. Closing statement. A brief concluding remark. Sign off and name must match the greeting. 3. Address all bullet points clearly. Do not miss any of the 3 required points from the prompt. Use separate paragraphs for each point to make it super clear for the examiner. Add extra details and explanations within each paragraph to make your point stronger and to help you reach the word count.
4. Match your language to the tone. Formal. Polite, professional, precise vocabulary. No contractions. Informal. Casual, everyday language. Use contractions. Semi-formal. A mix. Be polite, avoid slang, and use contractions carefully. It's often safer to avoid them unless you're sure. 5. Word count and checking. You must write at least 150 words. Always aim for a little over 100 to be safe. Crucially, leave the last 1 to 2 minutes of your 20-minute time slot to check your work for errors. This is very important for getting a good score. Look for spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes like verb tenses, subject-verb agreement, articles, punctuation errors, commas, full stops, missing words or incorrect word forms, correct use of contractions or lack thereof in formal letters. Did you actually answer all the bullet points? 6. Practice, practice, practice. The more you write, the more comfortable and confident you will become. Find IELTS Task 1 prompts online or in practice books and try writing letters for different purposes and tones. Try to time yourself to get used to the 20-minute limit for Task 1. If possible, get feedback from a teacher or a study partner.
Conclusion. Writing letters for the IELTS General Training Task 1 might seem a little daunting at first, but by understanding the core concepts of tone, structure, and choosing the appropriate language, you can absolutely master it. Remember, the 3 tones, formal,
semi-formal, and informal, and the essential universal 5-part structure. Always make sure you cover all 3 bullet points from the prompt, using separate paragraphs for each. With consistent practice and by following these tips, you will learn to adapt your language effectively, ensuring your letters are clear, well-organized, and perfectly suited to the task at hand. You will feel much more confident tackling this part of the IELTS exam. Thank you for joining us on this journey to mastering IELTS General Training Writing Task 1. We truly hope this comprehensive guide has made you feel prepared and confident. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a like and subscribe to our channel. That way you won't miss our future videos, including our in-depth look at Task 2 essays for both academic and general training modules. Do you have any questions about writing letters for IELTS? Please don't hesitate to ask them in the comments section below. We are here to help you succeed. Good luck with your IELTS preparation. You've got this.